It's the Dork Podcast. It's the Dork Podcast. Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rhodey Von Doty. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
Feeling fantastic tonight. Feeling great. There it is. There it is. That's my official sounder for this podcast now.
You're feeling fresh? You're feeling loose?
Like as a daisy, my man.
Oh, you look good.
I feel good.
That's spring weather, maybe.
And you know what it is? The cat's out of the bag now. So can I tell people my news?
You can tell people whatever you feel like sharing. That's the beauty of a podcast. We just talk it out.
Well, it's out there now, so I can tell it's not private anymore, but you know this news, so I will tell people that. The good news is that live shows from Hashtag Dork and our friends just got a whole lot easier because this summer the Davey family is moving back to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So it will be more local than usual. So
all in the same state once again.
Once mo.
That is great news, Ryan. So we look forward to having you back here.
Good to be home. Good to be coming home.
God bless you. Ryan, let's get to we have a jam-packed, by the way, we have a lot of stuff to get to today in addition to the topic du jour. So let's dive right into it.
This week in Dork. Yeah.
First things first, Ryan, congratulations to Michael Scott from the television show The Office for being voted the best TV character of all time in the 6th annual Hashtag Dork Madness tournament. He beat a Murderer's Row, came out of the comedy division, then head-to-head with Walter White, and then in the final, or was it Walter White in the final?
Walter White in the final.
Walter White in the final.
I think he beat Homer Simpson, maybe?
Oh, yeah, he might have beaten Homer. Like, it was just a hell of a run by Michael Scott.
Michael Gary Scott.
Now, there were definitely some upsets along the way. I was definitely surprised. My biggest takeaway from Dork Madness, one, it was one of the more competitive ones we had, as far as there's a lot of like 55-45% matchups, and there were some upsets. Again, we seeded it, so upsets according to us. But clearly people don't like Friday Night Lights or The Wire as much as I do. That was a big
I was more surprised with the Friday Night Lights. Again, that's my great shame. You know, people always ask us all the time, what's the one show that you're embarrassed to have not seen? And mine is The Wire. That might change. I have caved and watched Titanic, so now I might watch The Wire.
Well, those two are very synonymous with each other. So once you watch Titanic, you kind of have to. It's actually a prequel for The Wire.
I figured they kind of go hand in hand.
But now you'll know all the characters. You'll know the setup. So that was really good. But Michael Scott, the winner. Some people complained. Some people couldn't believe it. But clearly the majority of people wanted Michael Scott to win. So there you go.
We don't vote. We just make the bracket. Don't blame us.
The bracket's out there. You decide the winner of all these things. So anyway, that's what that was. Ryan, Godzilla versus Kong came out this past week on HBO Max. It'll also be our episode next week. When reached for comment, Rich Keefe said,
"It's snakes out there this big."
Hear that?
So I have a funny story. So I watched Kong versus Godzilla. I watched it with my father and my nephew. My nephew fell asleep. He fell asleep with like an hour left of the movie. Like he fell
during the sweet monster action.
He's a teenager. Like those kids just sleep, man. Like those, you remember those? Like he went to bed at like 10 and got up at like 11:30 the next day. Like so. But anyway, so we're sitting there, we're having lunch, and he was joking around. My nephew was joking around. He's like, "Yeah, I don't even know who won." My father then proceeded to tell him,
"Don't spoil it."
I'm not going to spoil it, but he told him. And then when my nephew looked at him as if to say, like, "Why did you do that?" He doubled down and then explained the reason behind the outcome of the movie.
So did your dad like it?
He did. But then we're looking at him like, you just spoiled the whole ending. And he's like, well, no, because, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he like went on to like describe the rest of the movie.
Well, yeah, I don't think he was going to go back. If he fell asleep during it, I doubt he's going to.
No, he was planning on going back and watching it, but now he doesn't have to, which is the beauty of it. Yeah.
It's over with. So that's that'll be our episode next week. I know some people wanted us to talk about it this week, but we'll give people a little bit longer. This way we can talk about what the topic du jour is. I'll say I'll write I liked it. I thought it was there were some enjoyable parts to it. So we can unpack next week. We can unpack. Ryan, the best television show currently on is not the topic du jour. In my humble opinion, IMHO, it's Invincible on Amazon Prime.
Yes, I have not watched the most recent episode, but I've watched the first 3, and I am all in on this show. And you're telling me that it gets better now.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
Okay,
I thought it was getting better as it was going anyway, and this last episode was good. It is it comes out on Fridays, just like Falcon Winter Soldier. It is an Amazon Prime show. I believe it's only 8 episodes, so they are also at the halfway point.
But they're also teasing a season 2. So that Robert Kirkman's already teasing a season 2, so that's good.
Well, the comic book, I believe, is completed, but it is lengthy. Like there are a lot of issues. And so I don't know how good they all are. I've only read the first few. So if it continues at this pace, then I think you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Now, are we right on with the comic? Are we in line with the story, or is they diverging a little bit?
So again, I've only read first 4 or 5 actual issues, like the first trade.
Yeah,
and it's very similar. There's like a couple of little differences, I guess, but like it looks like it, and it's like it's playing kind of form to this point anyway. Right. So MCU news for you. The Loki trailer, we tweeted it out at Dork Podcast today. That was released. That's going to come out in June. And Owen Wilson very much involved in this.
Can we get a wow count for him?
Wow.
I know that's a very wow.
Wow. Wow. I'll have to add that to the board. Wow.
Add that to the board. Wow.
It's going to be in the MCU. Who's not in the MCU? That might be a better question.
Clooney.
List actors who are not in the MCU. George Clooney. Fair enough.
Yep. That's about it.
Clooney is not. He's the only person not in the MCU in the world.
In the world.
Denzel's not.
He could not be bothered. He could not be bothered to be.
You drop a pile of cash on these guys, they'll be there. Everybody's in it.
Everyone's
in it. Like another big actor. I guess no Daniel Day-Lewis yet because he retired.
He retired, but for now,
I could see Daniel Day-Lewis coming back and being Mephisto.
Actually, what's crazy is that in what's her name? Scarlett Johansson got replaced in the new Black Widow. It actually is Daniel Day-Lewis playing Natasha Romanoff.
More denied.
Yeah, because that trailer came out as well.
Yeah, and it's actually Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah,
he can play anybody. He's a very convincing actor.
That's in there. All right, so we named a few actors who aren't in it, but it's if the MCU's not done, hell, they're only in phase 4.
God, no.
How many phases do you think they're going to have?
A lot. And I'm going to tell you this right now, because we got Angelina Jolie in the Eternals, you probably will never see Brad Pitt in an MCU movie.
Not true. The universe is so big, Ryan.
Yeah, but they don't like each other.
Wasn't Brad Pitt already in it? Oh no, he was in Deadpool 2. But
so technically that's in the MCU now.
So he kind of was. What was his name? No, not Dazzler. It was, who was he? He didn't last.
He's the invisible guy. Remember, he was like
yeah. That's great.
Yeah,
he didn't last for a while. But what did you think of the Loki trailer though?
This looks banana land. This looks like weirder, almost as weird as WandaVision.
Yes, it does. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be odd.
So the idea is that Loki has now been up to his Loki business and has fractured several timelines, and they need him to fix it. Right.
Yeah. And so Owen Wilson seems to be a part of a group that is like in charge of time. And they're like showing them, they're like, well, when you had the Tesseract, like this is what you did and this is what you screwed up. And yeah, it's going to be really weird. I'm curious, like what other MCU characters will either show up in this or will be introduced in this.
Oh, I mean, you could even, because you could do it. So apparently Brad Pitt was the Vanisher in Deadpool 2.
That's who it was. I said Dazzler. No, Dazzler is somebody else. The Vanisher. So he's already been a Marvel comic character. Yeah. So there you go. It's only a matter of time for the Clune dog. I think he'll get in there. But I'm interested with Loki, and we'll get into it a little bit more when we get into the topic du jour about how these shows are going, and because that's another one like this one, which I believe is only going to be 6 episodes, not 9 like WandaVision.
Which is fine. I think the shorter the better.
It's fine. And then Black Widow, we got another trailer for. I know there's been a million trailers at this point. How
many years has it been of trailers for this movie?
A couple years. It's got years. Because this was supposed to be out forever ago.
I know. So it's got to be like 3 years of trailers we've dealt with this. Yeah.
Comes out July 9th. And I believe it's also. So that's a Friday. And so I think that's going to be towards the end of the Loki series.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird competition that they're going to put out at the same time. Now I know you have to pay for Black Widow 30 clams,
30 smackaroos,
30 bones, but Loki will be free. I mean, I'm gonna watch both on Friday. I think that's
Sure.
how we're gonna operate.
That's a date night if I ever heard one.
I'm excited for that. I am. Like, don't you think it could be Winter Soldier level?
I hope so. And this is kind of her. I mean, this is kind of her last hurrah. So hopefully we go out without a whimper. You know, and more of a bang. I do believe, was it Frances Pugh? Is that how you say her name?
I believe is it Florence?
Florence Pugh.
Pig.
I always say Frances. It's Florence. She's the one from Midsommar.
I didn't see that.
Hopefully she takes up the mantle of Black Widow. So that would be good.
Ryan, should we get to the next portion of the program?
What's that?
Should I have bought this? This is becoming everybody's favorite podcasting game. And what we do is you send in an item. You email us, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. You send in an item with the price, a brief story as to maybe why you bought it, and a photo of the item. So let's begin here with, how do we do this? Come on, Keefe. There we go. Boom. This one is from Mark. He emails in and he says he's a big fan of Fortnite and he's a big fan of Nerf guns. So as you can see, Ryan, can you explain it to the listener and not the viewer here?
So I have what seems to be a lesser version of my Nerf gun. They went with the dart instead of the balls. I found the balls travel faster and do more damage.
Okay.
Both emotionally and physically. But the dart gun, it's purple. It looks like a Desert Eagle with an orange front, and it says Fortnite emblazoned on the muzzle brake. Yeah,
and I mean, it looks like a nice piece, if you're asking me. Here's the thing, Ryan. He spent $12.88.
Now, that doesn't seem like a lot of money. And it's not.
That's nothing. $12.88. I mean,
I shudder to give Fortnite any of my money.
I know you don't like Fortnite, but I think in this case, you have to go with Nerf greater
than. It's more than Nerf. And this gun looks nice.
It's a nice piece. He keeps
under $15.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're
how we do it. This is how we do it.
Now, I thought I was going to have to plead my case a little more, but I think we were on the same page there.
No, not at all. Now, this is what I'm going to do. This says this is by no means any kind of criticism of Mark, because we never set any kind of boundaries before. But what I'm going to say, that I'm going to set a new rule here, Ryan, is that everything you send in, I think, needs to be minimum $25. Because if you can take a 20 out of your pocket and pay for anything,
it's a no-brainer.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair.
So going forward, if you email us anything that is under $25, this is our message to you.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't want to be mean.
No, you're not being mean. The answer, if it's like you said, if it's under a double sawbuck, the answer is yes.
Right. And then here's the thing, though. If it is under 25,
get the fuck out of here.
Where did you pull that?
I started watching Solar Opposites.
Oh yeah, it's good, right?
I think it's really funny. Yeah. So I watched the first season. I gotta queue up the second season. So I put that in, and then when they're trying to come up with catchphrases and that little like snarf thing is going.
Yeah, pupa.
Y'all ready for bisque? Y'all ready for bisque? And the guy goes, "Oh, the catchphrases aren't very good."
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, this next one, as you can see in front of us, this is a beauty. Piece. This one comes in from Steve, and it is a arcade top, like a board. Like, so what it is it's like double joystick, a whole bunch of buttons, and you hook this up to your own TV.
Sure.
It was originally $250. He spent $99.
Okay, now
look it up, Ryan, though, because here's the thing. Before we unpack this completely, I gotta say, I did a quick look. It says it's the Legends Gamer.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
Ball there. There's like a little ball in the middle, so you can play a lot of different games. However, quick scan of the games, there are many games, not many good ones. Kind of a shit sandwich when you look at the games. I think it was Tetris, some of the old, Bubble Bobble, some of the old Star Wars ones, but tons of crap, tons of games you would not.
But I'm looking at it right now. Like the way that's set up, it looks like a fight stick. It has eight buttons aside, 4 and 4.
Oh,
So
yeah.
2x4. So like
Yeah.
that's set up to be like that should have Street Fighter, that should have Mortal Kombat, that should have Tekken.
Unless I looked at the wrong thing and maybe so somebody in the chat's asking for the game list.
I'm looking for the game list right now.
Do you have
Legends
Gamer Pro
Games.
Game List? Fucking what the fuck?
I'm not getting a full list here.
I dropped the ball on this. I think I might have found it.
Is it still shit sandwich?
Yeah.
100 to 150 licensed built-in console games. And I'm not.
Yeah, I have 150 right here. I'm not going to read them all, but it's an alphabetical order. So stop me when you like any of these. 8 Eyes, Aladdin.
Nope.
I guess Aladdin's good. Alpine Ski, Apocalypse 2, Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja.
No.
Bubble Bobble, I like.
I'm not seeing any fighting games.
Oh, do you have the list in front of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It sucks. Dude, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, right? I don't know. These games kind of suck. Like I have all of these games on a Raspberry Pi.
I would like to. Is that your
like these
Pi?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm like, what is Dork? Dorky, like DORKE and Imp, YMP. Dorky and Imp. Like, what is that?
When are you gonna play Pirate Pete?
They have Fix It Felix Jr., which is from Wreck-It Ralph, apparently.
Dude, listen. I like the value that you got on it. It was sliced in half, and I think nobody's buying this. Right.
I think that's why. I'm not feeling. No.
You're
I don't like it.
All right.
I don't like it.
Sorry, Steve.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right. And the last one. We just got this in via Instagram. Can you see that?
I know who bought this.
I know you do.
There's only one person who would buy this.
Correct. So this comes in from Billy D from the Pop Culture Pile Driver podcast. He sent it on Instagram. And again, for the listener, it is a chain.
Yep.
With the word Sugaboo on it.
Yep.
Looks like gold. Would you say gold plated, maybe?
It's gold. Yep.
And the quick story is he says, this purchase was brought to my attention by R. Von D.
Yep.
It's necklace with the charm displaying the words Sugaboo.
Yes.
Sugaboo is a popular lyric from one of my current favorite songs by Dua Lipa. I've gone as far as to name one of my generically drafted Madden guys in our league, Sugaboo. Although I might rarely wear the necklace since it seems to be designed as a piece of woman's jewelry, it will be permanently hanging from the rear view mirror in my car, shining just the way I like, in quotes. Cost $25.
See, it just comes just under the wire here. Now,
but again, it is a piece of woman's jewelry.
William, now for him, yes. Billy D is probably the only person on earth who's a bigger Dua Lipa fan than me. I'm an unabashed Dua Lipa fan. Now, would I buy this?
Should I have bought this? So again, I think you have to take it. That's the game that we play. Should I have bought this? And his question was, should I have bought this? It's a Billy.
My hope is that one day Billy meets a nice young lady who he can give this to and will wear it as a, but until that day,
half it in half. You wear half of it. You wear sugar.
One sugar. He boo. Right. So until that day happens, I'm going to give it a.
This is how
we
do it. This is how we do it.
I thought it was a yes. You were going.
That's not a yes. Until that day, he can find someone to wear it since it's women's jewelry. I will tell that necklace to
get the fuck out of here.
There it is.
Right, well, fair enough, folks. That's how you play. Should I have bought this today? Sort of, it was like one win, one loss, one overtime loss.
We kind of screwed that up. Yeah,
we went 1-1-1. We went 1-1-1. So, again, email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com. That is how you play the game. And so, what's up next is.
Hello, ladies.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Could it be? Oh my God, folks, that's Jason Rossi's
music. Jason Rossi's music.
Jason Rossi's music.
We're getting into the grind, boys.
Is that Val Venus? Is that Val Venus's music?
Yeah, I am bottomless, by the way.
That is unbelievable, folks. Jason Rossi also from the Pop Culture Piledriver podcast is here to preview WrestleMania, which is this upcoming weekend. Rossi, of course, from the Pop Culture Piledriver podcast. He is also the #Dork Shared Universe wrestling expert. Rossi, how are you, sir?
I'm embarrassed. That's what I am after that segment. Well, the Billy purchase. Like, I hope that's fake. I really do. I hope it's a gimmick, because if he purchased that and it's hanging on from his car rear view window, mirror, I'm embarrassed.
Now, Rossi, I have a question before we get into this. So I recently acquired Peacock. Now,
should you have bought it? Should you have bought it?
Now, is it true that the WWE network is now moving to Peacock? Is that true?
It's there, my friend. The ship
there.
has sailed. I go onto my WWE network every night before I go to bed, tuck my little self in, pat my wife on the head, the cat, there's a kid involved somewhere, and I pop on the WWE network, fall asleep to something. It's barren, dude. It's bad news now. It's all over on the cock. All there.
Okay. Well, actually, hold on. What? But yeah, so could I potentially watch WrestleMania on Peacock?
The only place outside of pay-per-view that you can watch it is on the Peacock, which kind of sucks.
$4.99 a month, though.
Yeah,
not bad. People don't like the Peacock. Is it true? Because our mutual friend Davey Fridge was bitching about how they removed certain pay-per-views. Like, he likes to watch 1993 WCW Stampede PPVs,
and he loved the old ECW. We used to watch the ECW stuff back in the day, and that's not on there anymore.
It's all going to migrate over, they say, by August. But when you were the WWE network was way ahead of its time. Like, it was the best network for any sporting entertainment. They're migrating things over, but they're heavily editing. So they're paying a jamoke like me to sit and watch 17,000 hours of programming and be like, if anything, even if some idiot like me thinks it's it's a little risque, it's off. It's not
I can't watch Sabu get on a scaffolding match, get thrown off of 30 feet in the air onto a table.
Right now you can't, but I'm not saying that won't happen, but you won't be seeing Trish Stratus barking like a dog for Vince McMahon. You won't be seeing Vince McMahon slurs. You won't be seeing a Roddy Piper half painting his face before a WrestleMania match.
From DX and The Rock between 97 and 01 would probably be edited out.
The entire DX playing the nation, gone. Not going to make it over. One of the funniest skits.
I know. They did blackface.
They did blackface. Not great.
I'm going out on that. But all right, Rossi, you used to do the Rossi Wrestling Minute back in the day. So give us the preview of WrestleMania. I know there's some NXT involved. And then when you're done, Davey and I will each be allowed one follow-up question. So Davey, you have one follow-up question to all of this. But for people that either are kind of in and out of wrestling or are not sure if it's worth watching, what can you tell us about this week?
Well, first off, every single night you have something. So Mondays, when this is being recorded, you have Raw. Tuesday, on the cock, you'll have the Hall of Fame. 2 classes, everybody has 4 minutes to talk. So Eric Bischoff, lengthy career, only 4 minutes. NWO, only 4 minutes. Bella Twins, 4 minutes. And so on down line. RVD. Wednesday night, you have part 1 of NXT Stand and Deliver, oddly named. So night 1 on USA Network, night 2, Thursday night on the cock, Friday night, a very special WrestleMania SmackDown. So you're going to have WrestleMania matches, but on SmackDown. So the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, everyone getting thrown out, really hasn't been important since Cesaro won it at WrestleMania 30, and even that's still. You're also going to have tag team championship matches. Just it kind of feel bad for the guys because you usually get that fat check from WrestleMania. They're getting bumped off to be on Fox on SmackDown.
Yeah, that stinks.
Might have more people watch them, but still not the same event. And then, Saturday, Sunday, WrestleMania's night 1 and 2, both events scheduled to have 6 matches each, which is a godsend.
Oh my God. Yeah. They used to go for 5-6 hours.
That's when I was watching wrestling. They used to go for 4 or 5 hours.
WrestleMania 4 hours. Give me it every year. 4.5. Sure. If you get a great card. The first WrestleMania I flew out to, WrestleMania 32, started the trend of 6-hour events. No, not pre-show included, all day affairs. It's insane. It was dumb. They're going to go back to it next year. But we get 2 nights, 6 matches each very quickly. You have Sasha Banks, who I think is must-watch television when it comes to the females, versus Bianca Belair, which, Keefe, I feel like you would be in on.
I do
I
like
don't know how much
her. I've seen her in NXT.
she won the Rumble.
Yep.
So you should be in on her. Which, by the way, thank you. You're welcome for those 2 separate $5 payments. Been a while since we caught up. Lashley. That's my middle name. Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, which is going to be for your championship match, which are 2 dudes that look badass. So it's going to be a great visual. Also, this is going to be the first time wrestling has been in front of an audience since I think a little over year and 3 weeks now, maybe a little bit more when the pandemic.
That was one of my questions.
That was actually one of my questions too. Is like, are there going to be people there? Because if there's not, I'm not watching. I tried to watch wrestling with no fans, and it's brutal.
I can't do it either.
I understand, and guess what? The world can't do it either. They're averaging under 2 million viewers on both nights. It's not the same. It's not. I watch it all the time because I really don't know why. I'm a glutton for punishment.
All right.
But you're going to have Raymond James Stadium, which had the Super Bowl, 22,000 fans per night. Tickets still available. Keefe, you guys want to just bump it? Do you guys want to fly down? Catch up?
No, I'm not.
I got nothing going on.
Yeah. Only other match that I think that would be really cool for people to see, the spectacle match of Bad Bunny. I don't know if you guys are down with the bunny of evilness. Not so much Davey. Keith,
no,
not feeling it. Yeah, okay. He's going to be taking on The Miz.
What?
Yeah. I just don't get it, though. Like, that's a perfect tag team, elevate somebody, but Bad Bunny, bringing them YouTube hits. You boys know all about that. Then you got Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon for absolutely no reason, because Shane McMahon is calling Braun Strowman a dummy, and Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
Something. So what's the tallest thing there that Shane can jump off of?
So everyone's thinking the pirate ship, Raymond James Stadium. It's going to be awesome. It's a cage match.
Yeah, but yeah, but so was all these Hell in a Cells with Mick Foley flying off of it.
But that was at least that was I don't see how you're getting outside of the cage. I think they're setting the expectations low. I think they're trying to tell people.
Yeah. Okay.
My son, Vince, he's like, I'm going to kill my son, but it won't be from something as cool.
Right. Okay.
And then, just quickly, second night, you have Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, which I believe could go down as one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history. And I'm not just saying that. That's
because you love Daniel Bryan.
You're a big Edge guy, though.
I like Edge, yeah.
I like Vampire Edge. Once he opens his mouth, I'm kind of done.
But Daniel Bryan is the greatest wrestler, today. He is excellent. It's such a good story with Edge coming back. 10 years, that Sunday will be 10 years from the day he retired.
That's pretty cool.
Then there's Roman Reigns, who we all know has been kind of shoved down the throats of wrestling fans, and will be in some movies that you'll probably be reviewing one day.
All right, Rossi, my question for you is, but if you take the NXT card and the WrestleMania card, and I kind of know where your answer is going to be, so eliminate the triple threat, Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns. If you could only watch, or if you could have a casual wrestling fan watch one match, which would it be? And again, if that's your answer, pick something else.
I will. I'm going to say Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, because they broke up the Undisputed Era.
Ooh, I like NXT guys. I'm all in on, and Adam Cole can wrestle. Kyle O'Reilly can wrestle. That's going to be a good match, because those guys were together for so long.
Yeah.
Once you have the path, I'm in on that one. Is that Wednesday or Thursday?
That's Thursday on the Cock.
All right.
So
I get the Cock.
Yeah, it's worth it, and for that night. And then the only other thing about that, though, is there's no fans at that. So I'm just warning you. And they're in a smaller arena, which looks. They have it all. It's a pandemic, dudes. What do you want me to say? So I think that match will be probably the most talked about.
No fans at NXT?
Get the fuck out of here.
Can I just say, listen, I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. You guys beat me down at times, and I like it. My son.
Oh, come on. We have
fun. No, it's all in good fun. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Just keep doing it. But I will say this. The soundboard has really just evolutionized the Dork podcast. If the people that are out on that, I want their direct messages. I'm going to DM them my penis.
You heard him. If you got a problem with the soundboard, talk directly to Jason D. Rossi on Twitter.
I'm going to send you
Bring it to him.
If you're out on the board, and this is a conversation from weeks ago, but I don't know how you were ever in on the podcast. Doesn't make any sense.
We were very on brand for us.
Y'all ready for Bisque? I'm ready for Bisque.
Now, Rossi, my question is, what surprise appearance are you most excited to see in WrestleMania, and why is it Becky Lynch?
How you doing? My name is Joshua Adams.
I am the Joshua Adams of wrestling. Should see me at those WrestleCons. Yikes.
Now, my girlfriend, Becky Lynch, gave birth in December.
Sure did.
And there's speculation that she will be back. How do you feel about that?
I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a reason to, aside from the pop and the circumstance. If I'd rather her not return as a wrestler, just be seen backstage, something that's cool. I don't think it's going to happen. I think,
like you said, they need the pop.
They do.
Pop.
Now they
But
don't
I don't think it's bad.
returns at. It's more of a. I feel like returns are at either.
I would count this as a Raw. Yeah.
Royal Rumble or the Raw after Mania, right? You're thinking Raw after Mania?
I think, and this isn't going to make you like drop your pants, but I think there's a superstar out there that they need to put the gas behind, and someone I know Keefe has been a fan of in the past. That's Aleister Black. Aleister Black needs to come back. He is someone that I think he's someone that can grab fans' attention if they use him properly.
Yes, Davey, look up Aleister Black
Look
entrance.
at this fucking guy.
Pull up NXT entrances Aleister Black.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And not just Davey, anybody listening, even if you don't give a rat's ass about wrestling since 1997, this guy could do it. He gets it.
And he's married to Selena Vega in real life.
Yeah,
like,
who quit the company, so there's some weird politics there.
Yeah, so she could do Twitch. They basically wanted her to do video Davey, and they were like, they're pissed because she was making money on the side. So she was like, all right, fuck it, I'm done with wrestling.
Do you want to know a funny story? So she revealed she made 3 times the amount per month on Twitch, and I forget the other outlet, not OnlyFans, but something like that.
I think it might have been OnlyFans, actually.
It might have been, but she wasn't doing nudes. She made that very clear.
You can still be on there.
Yeah, Arvon D's the one if you want to follow him on OnlyFans, straight up nudes.
It's a lot of feet stuff. It's a lot of feet stuff.
Whatever you're into. Hey, dude,
you give the people what they want is the thing.
This time I'm going to step into orange Jello.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she left, but she said she made 3 times the amount per month.
Crazy.
Outside of WWE than her on-screen television character.
So talk to me about, I have one more question, I'm sorry, and then we'll get to the topic du jour. One of the guys who I've been following closely, I don't really watch wrestling, but a man who I'm intrigued by is Ricochet.
Yeah.
Is he ever going to get, like, what an athlete this dude is.
On these guys. By the way, Davey, Ricochet, sorry to cut you in, Rossi, but this is something I do know. Ricochet and Aleister Black were both individually killing it on NXT. And then like a year or two ago, they brought them up to Raw, didn't know what to do with them. So they put them together as a tag team. It made no fucking sense.
Those two should not go. I'm looking at it, right? Like they don't go together. That's why I brought them up.
They're not a tag team. No. But Ricochet, I feel like Rossi was one of those guys that got like a mini push and then they just like ran away from.
So very quickly on that Aleister Black Ricochet, the only tag team in history to go after the NXT, SmackDown, and Raw tag team titles in consecutive shows. Like literally like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Made no sense. They just needed killer athletes out there. That was WrestleMania 35 and NXT New York, which is the greatest NXT takeover. Ricochet is a dude. He just got a little bit. He looks like they're maybe trying something again, but a little over a year ago, they were in Saudi Arabia, which Blood Money City, and he fought Brock Lesnar for the title. 2-second squash, and he hasn't responded since. They buried that dude.
Buried him.
And there's positions for guys like that. There was reasons X-Pac was consistently on the top and middle of the card because they didn't put him against a champion and then just squash him the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So I like Ricochet. I'm with you. I think they need to find something for him, but WWE has their creative is so bizarre at this point that they forget about these guys.
And is he still with Casey Catanzaro, she of the Ninja Warrior?
Dude, could you imagine what's going on in that bedroom?
What athletes?
The two of them. Whoa!
Talk about OnlyFans. Yeah, you'd make a fortune on OnlyFans.
Oh my god, the 450 splashes that they're doing to each other in there.
Oh yeah,
maybe 1080s. They're pulling. That's the new thing. Forget the number 69 in that household. It's 1080.
It might be too athletic.
Might be.
It's a little too advanced for me. Yeah.
To it. So Rossi, what's your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 6 for this week in wrestling?
Well, I'll be honest. For me, it's about like a 5.5. In all reality, if like I'm even a bystander fan, it's probably like a 2. It just doesn't have the feel. Going over to
buzz for it.
Yeah, and the Peacock thing is really throwing people because they messed up.
Peacock.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to rewind or pause. So it's literally like watching live television.
Yeah.
Which is ass backwards these days.
That takes some of the fun out of it. But Jason Rossi, appreciate you stopping by as always. The people can follow you, Pop Culture Pile Driver Podcast, the Pop Culture PD on Twitter. And what do you guys got coming out this week?
So we got a triple WrestleMania preview. So we got top 11 WrestleMania opening matches, the top 11 WrestleManias, and a WrestleMania 37 preview. That'll be dropping. Basically, if you're listening to this, go search Pop Culture Pile Driver. Would appreciate a listen.
And one thing I would tell you to do, whether you do an episode on it or whether you just put it out to the public, like 3 or 4 years ago, I asked you for a list of the best wrestling matches based on crowd response. And you gave me a fucking awesome list. And I think for casual wrestling fans, there's nothing better than hearing a crowd, especially now that there's been no crowds in sports for a long time. Like the other day, I just went back and watched the John Cena, CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011. Greatest crowd of all time. It was in Chicago, so they're chanting for CM Punk. Even if you don't want to watch the match, just watch the intros. Watch the 2 intros.
Have it on the background for all we care. But yeah, it literally sounds like NBA Finals Game 7, Celtics Lakers in Los Angeles. Like wild.
It was insane. It was a ton of fun. So anyway, I like all that stuff. And Davey, we were big wrestling fans back in the day, so there's that to get on board. So Rossi, thanks so much, my man.
Appreciate you, boys. Enjoy the rest of the episode. It's all downhill from here.
That's right. All right, it's time now, Ryan, for the topic du jour. Are you ready for that?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm glad you asked because it's the topic of the day. And today it is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier at the midway point. 3 episodes in on Disney Plus. They're only going to be 6 episodes. They've been running, I would say, between 43 and 53 minutes, although it's hard to tell sometimes because the credits are so long.
You hack off like 8 minutes of the runtime. That's all credits.
It's crazy. And there's no end credits.
No, I scan through it. Yeah.
But yeah, I always do the same thing like a sucker. I'm always like, oh, maybe there's something here. There's So let's begin as we do with all of our TV and movie reviews, spoiler free. Let me ask you, are you liking it?
I wasn't to start, but I am now. I'm enjoying it now.
I think it's fine so far.
There's not a lot of wow, but it's good.
There's that's a good way of putting it. There's not a lot of wow. There's a couple of cool action sequences, particularly in the first episode. I do love Falcon. Like I love both Anthony Mackie, the character, the actor, like the combination they're in. I love that casting, and I like the character a lot. In all the movies that he's been in, I've liked him. Winter Soldier is also a great character. I was more excited for Falcon Winter Soldier than I was for a Wanda Maximoff Vision show.
Right.
But go
ahead.
I was just going to say we're closer to being done than when we did WandaVision to me got really, really good episode 4, but they had 9 episodes. We're 3 episodes in and it's certainly worth watching, but it's not like knocking my socks off, which I kind of thought that it might knock my socks off.
And it started off really hot. So that action sequence they had at the beginning, in the very beginning of episode 1 was lights out good. And then it kind of cooled off a little. There's a lot more talking than I thought there would be in this show. That's not a spoiler at all. So there's a lot of character development, and there's a lot of what these characters are doing now and their feelings on what happened before. So there's that I was not expecting. I was expecting a little bit more high flying action, and there isn't, which is fun. Like you said, it's fine. I'm enjoying it, but there's no blasting nips yet.
No, I think some of the best stuff, and some of it was even in the trailer, is just the interaction between Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like those guys, they are funny together. Like they have a natural chemistry, I think, between the two of them. But the show doesn't have as much of a oh, I can't wait to see what happens, or even with WandaVision. And maybe some people were let down, but it led to so many more questions. You're like, all right, what's going on? What does this mean? What is that gonna mean? And all this stuff. And I also think the addition of Agatha Harkness was better than anything we've seen so far in this show.
Yes.
Like with new characters or anything like that. So it's been good. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I said during the news segment, Invincible to me is a better show so far. So far.
And I think it's because it's new and it's fresh. And I think people had a preconceived notion as to what this show was going to be. And I think you always go to Winter Soldier. So the movie Winter Soldier, not the actual characters. You always go to that movie as a cloak and dagger spy kind of thing. And it's not really that. I mean, I think you can kind of see WandaVision always kept you guessing. And this is pretty linear. This is pretty straight ahead.
Yeah.
There's a plot, there's a plan by these bad guys, and you're going straight ahead to figure out why they're doing this, right?
I think I didn't read the whole thing, but Alan Sepinwall does his reviews on Rolling Stone. He's the TV critic. And he said something about how it feels like it's a 6-hour movie almost.
Right. I mean, that's exactly
kind of all it's going. Whereas if you watch, Daredevil or The Punisher, that felt like a series. There was each thing was almost like a movie, but it was like a good long series. This is all right, is this all just one big movie? And that's why it's 6 hours, but I think it's also heading in a direction where I wouldn't be surprised if episode 4 is the best episode.
And I think what we got in episode 3 definitely lends itself to that. I think the best is yet to come with this show.
Mhm.
And like you said, there's a lot of build happening right now. And we got to see some really cool things in episode 3 that we'll talk about in spoilers.
Yeah.
And if you want to jump off before spoilers, I will leave you with this thought. And that is, I was right. Again.
Yep. Davey's been right. Davey's been right a lot. And I can't argue.
If you don't know what that means.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I also like the tie, not only the tie-ins, but just the world development that we're doing. Because that was one of the great things about WandaVision is you can't. So the first thing we got after Endgame was Spider-Man Far From Home. And they can really only in a 2-hour movie spend so much time talking about the blip and the after effect and what those 5 years were like and everything else. Whereas WandaVision and this show do a much better job at sort of giving you some of those details about like, well, what happened when everybody came back? Like if you're going to pull off an event like they did in Infinity War into Endgame and then continue with this same universe, you need to spend some time describing and explaining away what happened. And so to that part, I really like. But then again, can the best part of a show be explaining something that happened in a movie? Like
no.
You hope it's other stuff, and that's why I think it could be. We don't give scores at the midway point, right? No sense in giving Dork scores. So anything else? Yeah, I know you were right. The action's been good, but again, it hasn't been nonstop. The story seems to be straightforward. I have 3 questions coming up. Well, we're going to do 3 questions. We can spend as much time as we want on the 3 questions, but I have that for spoilers. But again, if you're listening to a Dork podcast, we're also tied into the MCU anyway, that you're gonna keep watching. But I thought this was for sure going to be better than WandaVision. I'm now kind of, we'll see.
And I think you, yeah, but you didn't know what WandaVision was. You know, like you never knew really what it was until it happened right in front of you. Like how many things on TV now are you kind of surprised by? And I think WandaVision was a total surprise and a good one for all of us. And this one, you're kind of going into it with an expectation that one of these 2 guys is going to emerge.
Yeah.
As the new guy, you know?
Yes, perhaps.
Yeah.
Spoilers! Here come the spoilers!
All right, so we're going to start out with 3 questions for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier through 3 episodes. I don't think we need to do like a here's what's happened through 3 episodes because I think everybody has seen them and they've watched them. Yeah. And so one of the questions that has really jumped out, particularly after that 3rd episode, is the mysterious power broker. So who is the power broker? We've learned about all of these super soldier serums that are out there. And so you're creating more super soldiers, and there seems to be there's the flag smashers that we're dealing with. They're sort of this new kind of villain group, but there's somebody above that. Who do you think? And I think there's probably 5 or 6 different directions you can go with.
I have 5 listed. I have 4 legitimate ones and a long shot.
All right, let's ping pong it first with most realistic power broker. Who do you think most realistic power broker is?
For this show right now, it kind of looks like Sharon Carter.
That was who I thought too. She's way too sneaky.
And she's doing very well in Mandrapore.
Oh, she's doing great. And then she had somebody like help her. She's obviously very aware of what's going on everywhere.
And they kept saying, like, we can fix this. Like, we can take you home. Like, we can fix anything that you're in trouble for. Like, we can get you out of it. And she kept saying no. And
they leaned into very hard. Wow, she's different. Like they kept saying that. I'm like, I got it. Guys, I got it. Unless they're trying to throw us off the scent, which maybe they are. But I think my money would be on Sharon Carter right now also.
And so you have this scene with her, you know, after she walks away at the end of like with the shipping container scene, and she has an assistant who's driving her around. So she's doing in a very expensive car. So she's doing very well.
She's doing
now. Why would a person who's living on the run settle in Mandrapore and then have endless amounts of money?
Have that driver, have that place that she's staying at.
Right.
The whole thing. I think it definitely reeks of power broker. And I also think with WandaVision, if you go back to WandaVision, we had all these expectations of, oh, Magneto is going to show up, Mephisto is going to show up, Mr. Fantastic is going to show up, like on and on and on. And I think we can do that here, but the smart answer is probably somebody that's already been established. That's why I think it's probably Sharon Carter. If it was Baron Zemo, it wouldn't, I don't think it'd blow your mind.
No, but what I was referring to when I was right is Baron Zemo's the shit.
He is a good character.
Baron Zemo's the shit. But he could have easily, been contacting his butler while in prison, right? Or having him run it while he's behind bars. That would be an easy fix too.
Well, look how quickly he got that private plane and they were like out of there, like so quick.
He's like more evil Batman.
Yes. Yeah, he's an evil man.
So we've taken out the first two right away. So we have Sharon Carter and Zemo, who could be. Here's one for you.
Yep.
Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And someone caught it in the first episode. Yeah, in the first episode, when you see John Walker on the credits, on the piece of paper, there's a mention of Thunderbolt Ross.
Ooh.
In the superhero act and how he signed off on like whatever, but there's a mention of his name.
Oh, I like that.
So that's an outlier too. That could be him. That's not the long shot, by the way, that I have.
And then he turns into Red Hulk at some point too.
Yes. And remember the whole Incredible Hulk there, he was trying to make more super soldiers. So this is not out of the realm of possibility for him to continue doing this with the stolen serum.
I believe I read that Abomination, played by Tim Roth, might be in She-Hulk. So I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would put him or any of those characters from Hulk here as sort of a nod to She-Hulk. But I think, or maybe they just save him for She-Hulk.
Or maybe she shows up.
She-Hulk would be sweet.
That would be sweet. All right, what else you got? I got two more.
Well, I mean, we are all waiting for Doctor Doom.
That's the long shot.
That is the very long shot.
That's a long shot. Yeah.
But we're all waiting for Doom at some level in the MCU. So I would think, and that's a guy that's always been powerful and has had money and all this other stuff. So I could see him doing that.
And I would be happy with just a mention of Latveria.
Yeah.
Whether they either like Zemo mentions it as a place they could go,
right,
or they actually go there.
Yep.
You might not have to see, but the fact that they're in Latveria will tell you what direction we're going in with this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other one I had is actually Curtis Jackson, not 50 Cent, but the Curtis Jackson from the comics, who actually is the power broker.
Oh, okay.
So the other one I had is the actual power broker, whose name is Curtis Jackson, believe it or not, which is 50 Cent's name.
What if they actually got 50 Cent to play him?
That would be awesome. But in the comics, he's responsible for the creation of John Walker, U.S. Agent, and Battlestar.
Oh, okay.
So he could be the person who so that means that John Walker, the reason he's such a dick is because he's actually working for the power broker.
Yeah, there's got to be something there for sure.
There's something wrong. There's got to be. He's got too much of an edge.
There's also something up with Sam's friend. Like we're seeing him a little too much. The guy that is also like in the military or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking name. But so the Curtis Jackson one is interesting. Although I feel like for this show, can you set somebody up like this and then have the reveal be not only a character we haven't seen before, but not like a big name? I feel like that would be more of a letdown than if it was Sharon Carter, Baron Zemo.
Yeah, so if it's a guy we don't know.
Somebody we don't know, I think would be tricky.
So they would have to introduce him next episode and then kind of explain who he is.
Meet him as not the power broker and then reveal him to be the power broker later.
Or you could say that Curtis Jackson he's the power broker and he started doing his experiments and he got funded somehow in Latveria.
You could do Latveria. Or you also tie him either with Doom or you tie him in with the U.S. agent, and then that way you're like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
What about deep pull? And I'm 99% sure he's still alive. Justin Hammer.
That would be pretty funny.
Wouldn't that be pretty cool? All the way from Iron Man 2.
Yeah, and that would be a good pull because now that Tony Stark's not with us anymore, we're in spoilers, so it doesn't matter. So now that Tony Stark's dead, Justin Hammer is now back, and he's got no one. That would be pretty funny, actually.
I like that one.
Yeah.
My second question And again, you guys can tweet us Dork Podcast at Dork Podcast or email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com if you have questions or if you want to answer these questions. So who is the power broker? We again think Sharon Carter most likely, but there's some fun long shots in there. This is sort of a follow-up to that one. If you think it's Sharon Carter, the second question I have is why didn't Sharon Carter get a pardon like Bucky, like Ant-Man, like I think Hawkeye, like a bunch of people got pardons. And if Sharon Carter was working with them and is like best friends with Captain America, that's why I find like she almost has to be, because if she wanted to be like free in the United States, they would let her, right?
And I think you hit the nail right on the head. If she wanted to be, so why wasn't she pardoned? She didn't want to be,
right?
So I think that lends itself to it too. And like they went back to work and they made amends and they did the right thing. I think she went to Mandrapore, saw some opportunity there, and struck while the iron was hot.
Because she didn't kill nearly as many people as Bucky did. And even if Bucky was brainwashed, they pardoned him. He killed fucking Tony Stark's parents. And they're like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, and him and Romanoff were spies for other countries prior to being Avengers. So like,
I know, Sharon Carter,
they seem very forgiving. Yeah.
Like, oh, you sided with Captain America? No, you're banned from the country forever.
Yeah. I don't think she asked for a pardon.
She'd be fine. And in fact, I would be annoyed now. Like if she's not, and like if they don't go back and like clear that up, that's going to annoy me.
Yeah, because that doesn't make any sense. Like she was keeping tabs on Steve Rogers prior to us finding out who she was.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense. Like why she wouldn't be pardoned. She was working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hash King in the chat says she was not around at the time of the pardons. You mean like the snap or whatever? Like still, like by this point, I think she could get that cleared up.
Yeah,
I really do. Like she's back. Half the other Avengers got snapped away too.
But I think it's also just like it's very telling that they kept badgering her that we can make this right. We can take you if you just come home, we can make it right. And she kept saying no.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So that's on that one. And then the third question I have is, what is John Walker? Like, explain to me what you think is going on with him. Obviously, he's the new Captain America. We know in the comics, John Walker is U.S. agent, kind of a knockoff Captain America. But like, does he have any super soldier serum in him? Like, they
haven't said that he does.
Yeah, but you see him throw the shield. Like, fuck out of here. That's not like a normal dude,
right? And I think he does, and I think it was given to him by the power, because they mentioned something that his physical abilities are off the charts. His physical ability and like reaction time are off the charts, but they never said why.
Yeah, and like it's not like he's Mike Trout. Like he's beyond just like a great athlete.
Yes.
Like they're hyping him up like he's this athlete, but some of the stuff that he can do, and even when he was like that battle scene on the trucks, like the moving truck, like that's not like a normal person can do that.
No, a normal person wouldn't hold their own with super soldiers.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't happen unless they had a gimmick, right? And you can't just throw like I couldn't pick up that shield and throw it. I know it's not real, right? But like I'm saying, Schmo couldn't have it, throw it, and come back to you.
So do you think he's going to be revealed to be a villain, or do you think he's just sort of like a good guy that we don't really like?
He's a good guy that we don't like who wanted. So I think he wants the respect of a Captain America, but he went about it the wrong way. I think there's going to be some sort of like come to Jesus talk with him and Sam and Bucky, basically explaining to him, like, cut the shit. Like, don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, you claim to know all this stuff about Steve, but he never would have gone along with anything you did.
Right.
And people were pissed that he was using a gun, but I've seen Captain America use a gun a lot. So
yeah, I'm not mad about that. And I think also, if you want to pretend like I don't have the super serum, go ahead and use a gun. So you're only fair chance.
Right.
Some of the other characters, obviously, we talked about Sam and Bucky and John Walker. You also have Carly Morgenthau, who is like the main flag smasher that we see. And in fact, in the comics, it's Carl Morgenthau. It's a dude. So they've done this a lot in the Marvel shows. For those, they've done it actually in The Boys too on Amazon. Mm-hmm. They'll take a character from the comic and just swap the gender out. And so she's a leader of this group, but in the comics, it's actually Flag Smasher. This to me is one of the weak points of the show. I'm not all that compelled by the Flag Smashers.
Well, I like the idea that like you label them as a villain when really what they're doing is they're trying to take care of people who were ravaged pre-snap, who stayed and are now not being taken care of. And it's also what's wonderful is played by, it was Aaron Kellyman who played Infus Nest in
Rogue One.
No, in Solo.
Solo.
So she's kind of doing this. She's kind of been typecast as like this savior of this anti-hero, the savior of like downtrodden, which is kind of cool. And I like I like these ideas. And I've said this, I don't know how many times in this podcast, but bad guys with a point, and I don't think they're the bad guys. They are not.
I guess they're not, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm like not super enamored with them. Like I need something else. And I think maybe we'll get that with the Power Broker. Also, I think really important that made me sort of excited for the next episode is it Io?
Yeah.
Io, who from Wakanda shows up at the last scene of episode 3 because they're still after Baron Zemo because Baron Zemo killed Black Panther's father.
T'Chaka. And I love as soon as Bucky picked up the bead, I was like, oh no way.
That was awesome.
Like I was wondering it, like, because they made mention of him being the White Wolf.
Right.
But you never really saw him as the White Wolf.
No.
So did he have that deep a connection with Wakanda? Because in the comics, I mean, he becomes like the head of like the Wakandan secret police.
Yeah, and it's funny because Sam even calls him White Panther, and he's like, "It's White Wolf."
It's White Wolf, and he as a joke, he's like, "Were you White Panther now?" And he's like, "It's White Wolf," and he's like, "What?" Like he didn't believe him.
Yeah, it's like thing now. Like it's a thing. And so that's great. So much like WandaVision sort of tapped into the Ant-Man universe, the Thor universe, and what was the other one? Obviously like Ultron, but this is sort of also now being able to dip into Black Panther, which is great.
Oh, and something else that was really cool too. The old guy who they went and saw in
Baltimore.
Yeah. His grandson, who kind of like lets them in and then like throws them out. He's Patriot in the Young Avengers.
Oh, cool.
So that's a nice little to the Young Avengers. So now they have him in. But I thought that scene was probably the best in the show so far, other than like the what do they call it? The face-to-face therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing. I thought that was a great scene. But the scene with. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's good, but that reminded me after the first episode, I was wondering how much they were gonna lean into like so the United States now wants a Captain America. They want a symbol to make like for the country. They go into this big spiel about how they do that, and then they introduce John Walker and all that stuff. Do you think they just didn't want Falcon because he was black? Or do you think it was Falcon didn't want to do it? And they're like, we'll just find the next guy. Or were they like, because they were very kind of like, they didn't try to convince him at all. And they were like, thanks for bringing the shield back. Like, we don't want you to represent the country. Isn't that kind of what the feeling was?
Well, I think that's kind of the vibe. I mean, and then again, you have the scene with his sister, talking about the boat and the fact that like, he can't get you won't give a bank loan to the Falcon. Like,
yeah, they're like, we're working for the last 5 years or whatever. It's like, well,
yeah. And the other thing too is like that scene in Baltimore when they're having the argument in the street and the cops pull up.
Right. Oh yeah,
like,
that definitely.
It was super charged and super kind of like on the nose and very timely, which was very. It was unexpected that Disney would do that or that Marvel would go there.
I thought so too, and I thought it was going to be even more after the way the first episode was, and I think maybe they'll go back to that too. But it was almost like these guys that were making decisions were relieved that Falcon didn't want to do it because they wouldn't have accepted him. I'm like, oh my god, it's fucked.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a shitty thing to, like a shitty idea, but like it's real, And I think that I think it's great. I think it's great that Disney's kind of leaning, or I say Disney, but Marvel is like leaning into this and identifying, like kind of making it real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They for sure are. What do you think's next, or what do you want to see happen coming up? Obviously, we got to get the Power Broker reveal at some point.
We got to get that, and we got to have to kind of move the story. And I would love, at the end of this, to have one clear Captain America, like who, and again, Bucky's done it. Sam has done it. Like so.
Oh, we saw War Machine, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
We did see War Machine
in the first.
And I think you're going to wind up seeing someone else.
I want Falcon to be the Captain America
for now, and I think.
But
you
I
know,
also
Bucky's doing his thing, and then
like I love the Falcon character. Like I want somebody else to then be Falcon, or like have him have the wings and the shield, or something like that. You know?
Yeah, and maybe you know Bucky. I mean, not Bucky. Maybe Sam gets a little drip of the super serum.
Oh sure. Although he's so exclusive anyway.
Oh yeah,
like,
but he doesn't.
Shit, and poor Red Wing got destroyed.
Oh, that sucked. But like everyone's a super soldier, but him.
Yeah, true. It's not fair.
Which again, you know, why is that?
How about the Bucky stuff with like how about the Bucky's book? That's pretty sick. Like and then he's like going and he's like meeting with that one guy, and the girl's asking him why, and he's like, don't worry about it.
No, I think the therapist is asking him, you know, all these questions and stuff. And I love the therapist character. She was she was like a SHIELD agent prior to that, or she was.
I think so.
Something like that. But it's a really cool thing to see that, you know, a superhero being in therapy, and even if it's court mandated and you know whatever, I think it's a good thing for the show.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think I like the two the characters a lot, and I like their interactions. I just wish there's a little bit more, but I have high hopes that for the next 3 episodes, maybe it'll kick a little bit more ass.
Yeah,
Emo obviously helped the show too, coming in episode 3. Like, so after episode 2, I was like, all right, great, you get Zemo. And then after episode 3, you're like, all right, you get Io and a little bit of Wakanda influence on the show. And so, all right.
And it's given us the gif of him dancing, which is awesome.
We have that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right, so that is that. So in 3 weeks, we will do a quick little discussion of the next 2 episodes at the beginning of next week's episode and the week after that, and then in 3 weeks we will unpack the entire season of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So looking forward to that.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the pod.
All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also choose to defend the goal?
I will defer this way. I think I've taken the ball the last 2 weeks. I will defer to you.
Okay, I, believe it or not, have started to watch The Walking Dead again. I bailed on The Walking Dead forever ago, but I wasn't sure where. But my brother-in-law was telling me that it's actually gotten pretty good, or there's like stuff that he's stayed with it. I couldn't figure out where I was, so I'm like, I think it was season 8. And then I watched some of like the season 8 recaps, and like most of it I remembered, and then some of it I didn't. So I'm guessing I lost somewhere in there. So I just started to pick it up season 9. Season 9 is on Netflix. Season 10 is currently airing.
And this is the last season, right?
I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I think it's the last season.
I at one point loved the show, but then it was just like it was too much. And what they started to do was they would like split these seasons. You know, they would do like 8 episodes, and they take like a long break, and then they also, you know, like everybody else, they got messed up with COVID, and it was just like I don't. But it's on Netflix without the commercials. You can rip through it. They're like 45-minute episodes because normally they're an hour. You know, so I don't know. It's nice to have some of those characters back. I like some of those characters.
Yeah,
you know.
Who are you trying to convince, me or yourself?
Probably me a little bit.
Yeah. I got 2. So since we didn't get to the video game minute, since we made Ray for Rossi and we had him on for longer than anticipated, which is great. I loved having Rossi on. Good shot in the arm, a little energy for the show.
Yep.
Some video game picks. So right now, Doom Eternal is on sale. It is 66.6% off. You can get Doom Eternal for like $23 right now, which is an awesome deal. It's one of the best games I played this year. If you're a big Doom fan, but you were kind of on the fence about it, now is the time. It's until the next 10 days, until the 15th. It's on sale for 66.6%. Get it?
I do. It's the number of the devil.
Number of the beast, yeah. And the other one, I have been enamored with the game Outriders, which just came out. And I mentioned it before on the podcast. It is a mix between Destiny and Gears of War. So it's made by People Can Fly, which was Cliff Bleszinski's company. I don't think he's part of the company anymore, but they developed this game that's basically a hybrid of the two. In the genre that they're now calling shooter looters, which I love. So it's a third-person shooter game with you have abilities, so you can pick. You know, it's one of those like lightning, poison, time slowing, and fire.
All right.
And like an earth one. So it's great. It's a really fun game.
Like that.
It's not It's not perfect, but it's fun. Like it's actually really, really fun game. George's asking, I'm a trickster, so I can slow time and get behind people, and that's kind of my vibe. As stealth as you can play the game. So it's not really a stealth game, but if you like Gears of War and you like Destiny and you like both of them, this is definitely the game for you.
The chat's also saying season 11 is going to be the last of the Walking Dead.
So the next one is going to be the last one.
Currently season 10 part C is what they're currently playing. So what we got going on. Next week on the podcast, we are going to discuss Godzilla versus Kong. It is currently streaming on HBO Max. It also did well at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
It did better than anything else since COVID. It made like $48-something million. Blew out Wonder Woman 1984 as far as just box office in this past year. You can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you get your podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. We stream these episodes on YouTube every Monday night, so you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/Dork Podcast. Feel free to email us, especially your should I have bought this entries. Go to dorkpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Davey on Twitch, twitch.tv/rvond, and our hashtag Dork Shared Gooniverse Facebook page. Just type that into the search. You can find out what's going on with us, with Mac and Goo, with the Pop Culture Pile Driver podcast, Change My Mind, TLDR, Shime, Dr. Joe, and Davey, all on Twitch. That'll do it. Ryan, what do they say about wombats?
Square poopies.
Y'all ready for Bisque? Get the fuck out of here!